So I do want to thank everyone for joining us for this session this morning. We have a great group of people here. A lot of people decided to join us, and I'm very happy about that. So thank you so much for investing your time with us today. My name is Felicia Campbell, and we also have with us Jared Gansey. We are both marketing managers for the COSTARS program. We're also joined by Denitra Gober from Procurated, who is going to discuss their supplier review and rating platform, which could be a valuable tool for you in your procurement. I do want to let you know I'm not on camera today just because my camera decided to take a vacation and it won't work for me. So that's why I am just a talking head right now. So what we're going to talk about today is we really want to focus on COSTARS exclusive and statewide COSTARS participating contracts so that you understand how both types of contracts are important pieces in your procurement puzzle. If you're new to the program, we are also going to show some resources, including where you can locate the COSTARS for Newbies recorded webinar, so you can hear an overview of the COSTARS program and also learn how to search contracts like a pro. In today's session, what we're going to talk about we'll set the stage by quickly recapping what COSTARS is and how it benefits our members, suppliers, and the Commonwealth overall. We'll take the mystery out of the COSTARS exclusive and COSTARS participating statewide contracts, and you'll learn about contracts many members don't even know exist. We'll find value in our quoting process. Finding value is much like a game of Where's Waldo, only it doesn't wear a red hat and a white striped shirt, so it's hard to locate sometimes. So we'll show you how to find a resource that'll help you identify the value during quoting. We'll also explore the best practices in a member's use of the program. And lastly, we'll look at the member training area and we'll share a useful tip in the use of those trainings. So let's get started. Maybe. There we go. So first and foremost, what is COSTARS? The COSTARS Cooperative Purchasing Program provides the Commonwealth's registered local public procurement units and suppliers a tool to do business with each other effectively through the use of contracts established by the Department of General Services. This approach leverages the purchasing power of more than 9,000 local entities combined with the state to obtain more competitive pricing and choice than individual purchasers might be able to obtain on their own. The program also helps to reduce the expense of public bidding procedures and at the same time provides increased opportunities for hundreds of businesses of all sizes in all locations to compete for millions of dollars of government business. Our overall goal is to provide cost-effective procurement opportunities to our members so they can stretch the value of taxpayer monies to provide the greatest benefit to their communities. Before we dive into individual contracts, I want to share with you a helpful resource called the Guide to COSTARS Contracts. When Jared and I need to search for a product or a service and figure out where it can be found within COSTARS, this is the first resource we turn to. This guide includes a listing of all COSTARS exclusive and statewide COSTARS participating contracts, and it will help you as the member define which contract the products or services of interest to you would fall under. You can find these guides on the COSTARS website under member information, and later in the presentation, we're going to navigate through the website and we'll show you where you can locate this at that time. Because our topic today is statewide contracts being the missing piece of your procurement puzzle, you might have a question about what the difference is between COSTARS exclusive and statewide COSTARS participating contracts. So we'll talk about that. I'll first start talking about the COSTARS exclusive contracts first, so you can get a feel for what those are. There are 36 COSTARS exclusive multi-vendor contracts, and these are available for use by the COSTARS members only. The state agencies cannot use these contracts. These contracts have many choices of suppliers with a lot of variety. The way we award these contracts are when a supplier submits a bid for a contract, we verify that they are responsive and responsible. If we verify that that is correct on both parts, then they are awarded a contract. These COSTARS exclusive contracts offer competitive pricing, and a supplier's pricing offered on a COSTARS contract is the ceiling price. They can certainly offer lower pricing through quoting and negotiations, but they can't offer pricing higher than what is stated on the contract. And lastly, these contracts allow for customization as long as the products and services being customized and that customization falls within the scope of the contract. Now we'll look at the statewide contracts. These are established based on the procurement needs of the state agencies, which may or may not coincide with the needs of COSTARS members. So in many cases, there's a much more focused supplier selection on some of our statewide contracts. There are over 100 statewide contracts that are available for COSTARS members to purchase from. These contracts are competitively priced through the formal bidding process. And these are not open to customization. The specs of the products and the services are listed on the contract as they are to be purchased. Any supplier who is awarded a state agency contract can only sell to COSTARS members if they elect to participate in the COSTARS program under their statewide contract. And what that means, to clarify, is they may participate in the program under one contract, but if they hold another contract, they have to elect into the program under that second contract as well. So it's not electing in as a supplier, but it is a supplier per contract. If you don't often explore statewide contracts available to COSTARS members, you really should. There are many statewide contracts that offer parallel supplies and services that allow you to comparison shop for value. Why is that important? Well, the more choice that you have in procurement, the more power you have during the negotiation process. So what you see on this slide are many of our parallel contracts between the COSTARS exclusive and statewide side. And I'm going to highlight some of those to give you some tips on what to look for during your comparison shopping spree. So we'll first explore the parallel maintenance, repair, and operations contracts. You can find these under COSTARS 8 and also the statewide contract 44000-16344. And that's probably going to be the last time you hear me say a statewide contract number, since they're already on your screen. So let's take a look at the options under each of these two contracts. Under COSTARS 8, you'll see that we have both materials and service options. So for materials, this contract includes things like building supplies, flooring materials, tools and hardware, HVAC, and lighting. And then the services included under this would be things like inspection of buildings, roofs, drains, and overhead or hangar doors, consulting services, design, drafting, and surveying, drain clearing and cleaning, air quality and backflow testing, equipment calibration, and then maintenance and repair of many pieces of equipment, machinery, and pumps, including elevator repair. Now, looking at the statewide contract, you'll find that many of the same types of materials as under COSTARS 8 are available on this contract, but what you won't find under this contract are services. This is a materials only contract. So the materials covered under this would include items such as electrical, hardware, HVAC, pumps, and plumbing. You won't find flooring materials under this contract like we saw under COSTARS 8. These materials are found under a separate statewide contract. So flooring materials has its own contract because that includes installation. And again, we said that statewide MRO contract was materials only. Hence, flooring cannot be part of that. So it holds its own contract, and also elevator maintenance and repair also falls under a separate contract on the statewide side because, again, it has services under it. So now let's turn to vehicles. There are also parallel vehicle contracts for various types of vehicles. And I'm going to start with the vehicles for emergency responders. So these types of vehicles can be found on COSTARS 13, emergency responder vehicles, and then also under the statewide police and specialty vehicles contract. Passenger vehicles, much like our MRO conversation, falls under one contract on the COSTARS exclusive side, but under this statewide side holds separate contracts, and that's based on category. So passenger vehicles inclusive of light duty pickup trucks, cargo vans, and green vehicles all fall under COSTARS 26. Under the statewide contracts, they're separated by category type into different contracts. So there is a separate passenger vehicle statewide contract, light duty pickup trucks and cargo vans, and then green eco-friendly vehicles holds its own contract. Because you can shop across COSTARS exclusive and statewide contracts, don't forget to use that Guide to COSTARS Contracts resource that I showed you earlier to find all of those available contracts for the item or service you're in search of. Utilizing both types of contracts during your quoting process allows you more power to negotiate. And then also don't forget that COSTARS exclusive contracts allow for customization while statewide contracts do not. That doesn't mean that you can't use statewide contracts as leverage in your negotiations, even if what you're looking for is something you want to customize. Still use the pricing that you get in quoting on statewide contracts to help you if you're going to purchase from the COSTARS exclusive contract side. So you've learned about how you can use parallel contracts to comparison shop, but statewide contracts are also useful puzzle pieces in maintaining and integrating material purchases that you have already made or in process of completing. So IT hardware is a perfect example. If you're currently purchasing IT hardware from COSTARS 3, you may need a service provider to integrate several of your current systems and equipment together. The statewide master IT ITQ contract can provide you with suppliers capable of that integration. So as you can see here, this is kind of putting that theme of puzzle pieces together. They pair well together and they complete that puzzle. We also have a statewide contract if you need IT staffing to help augment current staffing, especially if you're in process of upgrading your capabilities. We have that IT staff augmentation services contract on the statewide side. So let's revisit our vehicle conversation. Statewide contracts have many maintenance and operational offerings for your vehicles. So as you're after you've purchased them, you may need aftermarket parts, tires, motor oil, lubricants, antifreeze, and DEF. And I do have a special note on that particular contract. Currently, this contract does not have any COSTARS participating suppliers. The ones on contract were participating, but have let their participation lapse. This is coming up for, I believe, renewal in January. So our plan is to reach out at that time to the suppliers to promote COSTARS participation and get them back into the program again so that our members can start to use this contract again. But I didn't want to start that process until the renewal took place. If you have a fuel storage tank, you can purchase bulk fuel deliveries through our various fuels tank wagon delivery contract. And if you don't have a fuel storage tank, we do recommend that you look at the WEX Fleet Fuel Card contract. That will help members track their fleet fuel expenses and also provides through WEX incentive discounts. So that is a really valuable contract to take a look at if you don't bulk store fuel at your facilities. The contract I want to focus on next doesn't fit into the maintenance mold that we were talking about, but it really could be helpful in your procurement process. Prior to any large purchase from DGS contracts, you might need to provide a business case, cost-benefit analysis, or maybe a forecast on return on investment to gain approval to make that purchase. Under the Statewide Consulting Services ITQ, you can find management, business case development, and modeling consultants who can help provide that justification for capital expenditures. Under this contract, you can also find consulting on management, general government operations analysis on things like vehicle management, telecommunications deployment, disaster preparedness, which can help you in your decision-making processes on products and services that you'll need to procure to upgrade or maintain your operational plans. So there are more than 100 statewide contracts that are available for COSTARS members to purchase from through eMarketplace. In addition to the parallel and complementing contracts we just talked about, I wanted to highlight some of our other statewide contracts that you might not be aware of, but could be very useful to you. If you need to rent power or HVAC equipment for a temporary period, we have an ITQ contract that you can utilize. You can also piggyback off of the NASPO contract through DGS for vehicle lifts and other garage equipment. And as you purchase plows for your communities, you'll need to maintain them and eventually repair them. There is a statewide contract for that as well. And we also offer a third-party administrator contract for municipal waste, if that's something you're looking to work with a third party on. What I want to do is deep dive into a couple of contracts on this slide that may provide cost savings, convenience, and community lifting procurement opportunities for you. If you're looking for an electronic payment processing solution to expand your choice of secure payment methods and enhance customer service and convenience, this is a great contract to explore. Under this contract, electronic payments can be accepted for items such as payments for admissions, fees, filings, licenses, permits, taxes, merchandise, and other services. This contract allows for following payment types: bank and non-bank payment cards by point of service, online and offline debit cards, combination debit payment cards by point of service, automated clearinghouse, gift cards, chip and signature, chip and PIN, e-check, checks, scanners, hosted payment solution with a checkout page, and then also terminal registers, including PIN pads. This contract might be a good fit for your needs if you want to do any of the following. If you're looking to achieve operational efficiencies in depository functions through the application of a variety of electronic payment technologies, if you're looking to expedite availability and access to funds in order to more efficiently manage day-to-day cash operations, if you want to reduce bank processing charges and to reduce the costs associated with return and collection of bad checks, or if you want to be provided with specialized reporting, you have specialized information requirements, and or want accounting assistance. This is a great contract to explore. Second. Okay. Statewide contracts also offer training services to help members increase their knowledge and efficiency via the Statewide Training Services ITQ. So this offers trainings in different categories, one of them being criminal justice. Trainings under that category would be for offender life skill intervention, staff safety and supervision, and verbal and written interviewing interrogation techniques. Under the health category, there are trainings on communicable diseases, research and development, treatment programs, and case management. And then there are many municipal trainings available as well. So there are trainings for local government operations and administration, community economic development, tax collector qualification and continuing education, public works administration, recycling, federal grant municipal recipient trainings, and then emergency management. And remember, we talked about emergency management offers under options under the consulting contract. Well, our contracts offer that trifecta of emergency management. You can use consulting to help create your planning strategy, training to train your team on emergency management processes that you've defined, and the materials contracts to purchase products to increase your emergency management capabilities. So we have that whole solution for you in emergency management. There are many types of personnel trainings that are also offered under this contract to increase staff efficiencies and skills. And that offers things like increasing internal and external communication skills, organizational development, data collection and analysis to increase your staff skills in measuring the effectiveness of service, emergency operational management planning to be able to plan for emergencies and manage incidents as they happen, mandated reporter training to provide techniques on creating clear and concise mandatory documentation of factual information, specialized professional skills development like maintenance and trade, contract management, project management, and then also specialized highway related training. So there's a whole plethora of information here that can really help your staff increase their efficiency and skill set. I want that advance. So the last contract I want to highlight is supplies manufactured and services performed by persons with disabilities. This is the Unique Source contract. Unique Source Products and Services holds the state contracts to provide various products and services to state agencies under the Commonwealth statutory requirement that state government must purchase certain available products manufactured, and services performed by persons with disabilities. Unique Source is a nonprofit organization with a network of 56 member agencies that share the mission to bolster the employment opportunities for these citizens. DGS must establish fair market prices for any and all products and services purchased against the DGS statewide contracts. The reference contracts are available to COSTARS members, but only for those products and services that have pre-established fair market prices. So specialty products and services that require fair market determination on a case-by-case basis are not available to COSTARS members through this DGS statewide contract. What we've included on the slide here are all of the products and services with pre-established fair market prices. If you view their website and see other materials or services that you don't see on this slide, you likely won't be able to purchase those as a COSTARS purchase because they don't have fair market pricing. There is no contract minimum order amount on these contracts except for toilet tissue, for which Unique Source can charge shipping and handling when the order total for each product is less than $250. And in that case, you would need to contact Unique Source for a shipping quote prior to processing your order. So next, I'm going to hand over the mic to Jared, who's going to focus on best practices for a COSTARS member, and he's going to begin with the importance of a member's profile.
Thank you, Felicia.
You're welcome.
Let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
There it is.
All right. So like Felicia said, I'm going to be talking about the importance of your member profile. So a COSTARS member profile is of the utmost importance to our members and to our COSTARS team. It is the only resource for our team to connect with the members to convey important deadlines and program updates that may affect your procurement process. It is the members' responsibility to regularly update their organization's profile to ensure the information is current. We do recommend a yearly checkup. When filling out the organizational information, members should use the street address for their location and not the organization's PO box, because this information auto-populates the legislative information and it does not work with PO boxes. So when entering the organization's email address, this should direct to somebody in your organization that not only understands COSTARS and also the importance being received from us, but also the communication being received from us, but also who that information may affect in their organization as well, and how that information affects their procurement process. We recommend when selecting how you prefer to be contacted by suppliers that you at least select email so that you don't miss out on COSTARS exclusive and time-limited offers to our members. So in this section where you can indicate your contacts and your primary contacts, make sure that each of your contacts are listed as associated with your member profile. If you are not associated with your member profile and it says no right here, you can visit www.keystonelogin@pa.gov/account/login and select register in the top left corner to create a username and password. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in depth in a moment. And that's the link. And so when do you want to update your member profile? So anytime your organization information is changed, so your street address, your organization's email address, any change in contact information, like if one of your contacts has left the organization, if someone's title, last name, email, or contact phone number has changed too, and also if you're defining a new primary contact for your organization. So, and this is and also when a contact is not listed as associated. So also, this is a tip that our Superstar members do, is like I said, just do a yearly checkup. Maybe it's around the holidays, maybe it's when your fiscal year starts, or maybe, you know, something like that, to go in there, check your member profile and just make sure that it is up to date and current. Because like I said, it's the only resource that we have at COSTARS to contact you. So if you don't have updated contact information, phone number, email address, there is no way for us to get in contact with you. So that's very important. We try to stress that as much as possible, just so that you guys don't miss anything when it comes to your procurement process. So now I'm going to show you how you can update your member profile. It's super simple. So what you would do is you'll go to dgs.pa.gov/COSTARS. This is your COSTARS page. This is where you're going to do everything as it relates to being a member. You want to click on member information. Once you click on member information, it'll take you to this screen. You just click on members area. And if you have a username and password, you will log in with those credentials. If you do not yet have a name and password, you would click on the new user registration. This will take you to the Keystone login site where you will set up your credentials. So we do recommend that each contact has their own credentials, their own unique credentials via the Keystone login. So if you have turnover in your organization, you don't have to be concerned with passing down information, and you no longer have the login information. So you'll have your own unique one that you will then associate with your member profile. Like I said, click on new user registration if you don't have one, and if you do, you can just log in. So once logged in, you will arrive at this page. So if you click on the drop-down arrow and select the member account, your member account, and select update the member account button, if you can, if your organization doesn't pop up here, that means you're not associated, and that means you have to go to the next step in the process, which would be to fill out this information here, either a member ID or your organizational name. Click the name that appears there, and then you would want to click on the box that says you are in fact authorized to be representing this organization and to be doing this. Once you do that, you will click Submit Association Request, and we'll associate your credentials for you. And then once you do that, you'll be able to log in, and then you'll be able to go to the existing COSTARS membership at the top there, and you'll be able to update your COSTARS member profile. Moving on. And next, I want to show you a resource that COSTARS Superstars utilize to help them identify their best value when obtaining the recommended 3 or 4 quotes. You don't have to do the quotes, but we do recommend that you do in order to get the best competitive value for the taxpayer money that you are spending. So what I would like to show you is something called the Member Quote Kit. You can get there by, again, going to dgs.pa.gov/COSTARS. Once you click on that, you're going to, again, click on the member information area. This should be familiar. Once you click on that, instead of clicking on the members area, which is where we just were to update your member profile, you will go down to the member resources area. And this section here has the COSTARS member brochure, the guide to COSTARS contracts, which Felicia already mentioned, which goes over the 36 COSTARS exclusive contracts that we have and what's under them, and also the over 100 statewide contracts that we have. But under that is the COSTARS member quote kit. And I'm going to go over what that is, how you can use it, and why it's beneficial to our members. So the member quote kit, you'll fill out basically a blank quote summary page as well as a sample page as seen here. So you can quickly and easily organize and compare your quotes. So just to use this as an example, let's say that I'm purchasing a passenger vehicle. In my negotiations, I'm able to negotiate a different value adds to the purchase with the supplier I'm working with. These value adds may make the vehicle more useful for my needs, my specific needs. So vendor 1 may offer me the vehicle at $15,000 with an upgraded complimentary sound system and nitrogen fueled tires. You say, I'm going to go out and get another quote. So you go to vendor number 2, and they offer you the same vehicle, but at $15,500, but they also include a winter package, which includes winter tires and rims. So in normal purchasing situations, when working from memory, I may think that the $15,000 deal is the best value, but the upgraded sound system and nitrogen fuel tires really don't offer me any value for my needs of this vehicle. Maybe I'm using the vehicle, more in the winter. So the winter package from the second vendor would be valued at more than $500 and will be of greater benefit to what I need. It's better value to me. So seeing my quotes and negotiating through the process and filling out this sheet, it gives me a better picture of my negotiation process. We also include a sheet that you can fill out and send to each supplier you wish to supply a quote for you. They will fill out their offer based on the requirements of your project and return it to you. This allows you to have a signed final document listing any negotiated pricing you and the supplier discussed. And you would want to keep a copy of that, obviously. Well, I'm going to go over how you can stay audit ready as well. Keeping copies of all this is very important. And this quote kit and the recommended 3 to 4 quotes, like I said, are not mandatory. The quotes and this kit paired together are a great way to ensure that you are getting the best competitive value and you're able to pick the supplier that you most want to work with that will give you the best value for your taxpayer money, because that's the overall objective, is to save money, stretch that tax dollar as far as possible. And yeah, so I would like to go over negotiating. So you do have the negotiating power as a COSTARS authorized or a COSTARS member. Our suppliers are prepared to negotiate on COSTARS exclusive contracts. You cannot negotiate on statewide contracts, just on COSTARS exclusive contracts. And the suppliers have agreed, and they are prepared to help you in the negotiation process. Obtain at least 3 to 4 quotes so you're getting the best competitive value, and also comparison shop across COSTARS exclusive and statewide contracts. Like Felicia said, we do have a lot of statewide contracts that a lot of people don't even know exist. And we also have parallel contracts. So we have COSTARS 8, which is our maintenance, repair, and operation. We also have a parallel contract on the COSTARS statewide side for MRO as well. So shop on there. Ooh, didn't mean to go. So you can shop around on the COSTARS exclusive side and the statewide side to make sure that you are in fact getting the best competitive value. And then what you want to do is call your finalists and negotiate again using the best quote as additional leverage. You know, I'm using the word negotiate a lot because it's very important. And all you would have to do when you finally choose a supplier and you finally make a decision, all you would have to do is send the supplier a purchase order, and you would just have to include the member ID and the supplier contract number, just so that they know that this purchase order is coming from a COSTARS member and they are authorized to give the COSTARS pricing. So moving on here, how to be audit ready. So nobody likes being audited, but the superstars of the program know how to be audit ready. To ensure that all of the items needed during your audit are there, you will want to keep hard copies of all of these. So you want to keep a hard copy of the individual supplier contract. That's very important. You want to have a hard copy of the contract overview. And you also want to have a copy of the supplier quote with the supplier name, price, and discount included. You can use the member quote kit for this. Like I said, you can you can compare different quotes with the member quote kit, but you can also send them a thing that they can fill out that can be used as the quote, the sample, and also a hard copy of the purchase order. So you want to keep hard copies of these. I just had a member contact me recently. They worked with, I think it was some roofing company about 2 years ago, and they lost the digital copy of the contract they had with them, and they got audited. So they contacted me asking me if I can give them the contract because they couldn't find it. And it turns out that the company that they worked with 2 years ago, their contract had expired and they didn't renew it. So they had no way to get that information. So they had to contact us, and we had to look at the close account and give them the contract so they can provide it to be audited. And that would have never happened if they had just had a hard copy of it. So I know it may seem tedious, but trust me, it's worth it. Having a hard copy is super important. Also, some other uses for the COSTARS program. So in addition to saving money and using the supplier you want and all that good stuff that comes with being a member, there are also other uses for the COSTARS program, such as price benchmarking. So we know that you don't have to use COSTARS when you're procuring, but even if you don't use COSTARS when you're procuring supplies and services, you can still use the COSTARS pricing in order to ensure competitive pricing with the outside vendor. That's called price benchmarking. So you can go to a supplier that's not in COSTARS and say, hey, this is what the COSTARS vendors are offering. Can you match it or even do better? So you can still use the prices that we have just as a reference. And also you can use our commodity costs as a reference for budget and grant writing. So in order to make your budget and your grant more readable, to make it more full and with meat in it, like we say, you know, have those costs in there so that the grant reviewer or the the person approving the budget can see where that money's going, how much it's going to be, so it's it's more likely to get approved by whoever's approving it. So price benchmarking and budget and grant writing, comparing the cost. Also, I'd like to go over some COSTARS do's and don'ts. So I'm just kind of recapping what I talked about. So being audit ready, having hard copies of everything that you, all the documents that you procure through, your process. And then also confirming that the supplier that you want to work with is actually a COSTARS authorized supplier. That's a very useful tip. Sometimes we'll get people that will get vendors that will say they are COSTARS authorized suppliers, but they are in fact not, or their contract is lapsed and they didn't renew it and they didn't know. So our members will come to us and they'll say, they're saying they are they really? You can look this information up yourself by going to dgs.pa.gov/COSTARS, click on that member information area again, and then, or the member information, then the members area, and then click on search contracts, and you can search by their name, or you can search by a specific contract. And if their name comes up, that means they are a COSTARS authorized supplier. And if it doesn't come up, that means they're not. So you can also contact us at our offices. I will give you our contact information, and we can look up that information for you if you're having trouble. So just keep that in mind. We're always here to help if you guys have any questions about any member process that you have. Also negotiating. So I'm going to keep saying it, negotiating. Please negotiate. It's very important to get the best value for the taxpayer money that you'll be spending. That's the whole reason for the COSTARS program. And so also shop COSTARS exclusive and statewide COSTARS participating contracts. Felicia did a great job kind of explaining some of the statewide contracts that we have, and also our COSTARS exclusive contracts. So shop around, don't make a decision right away. Make sure you're responsible with the money that you are using, and compare the prices between COSTARS exclusive, and COSTARS statewide contracts. So now I want to get into some of the don'ts, and these are things that we see from time to time that we want to recommend that you guys do not do. So number one is purchase from a statewide contract that indicates the supplier as a no in the supplier column. So just as an example, this is on the eMarketplace site. Let's say you type in MRO and you're searching for MRO contracts on the statewide portal. And on the right side here, next to the supplier name, it says COSTARS. So if it says yes, that means they filled out the election to participate form, and they are in fact a COSTARS authorized supplier, and you can work with them through the COSTARS program. If it says no, then obviously they are not part of the COSTARS program, and you would have to go through your regular procurement process, following the procurement code, all of that, because they are not a part of COSTARS. So just keep that in mind. Please make sure you're at least looking at this once or twice, just to be sure. Also, don't limit what you purchase from using COSTARS. So preferably in a perfect world, every purchase you make would be on COSTARS because it saves time and money in your procurement process. You don't have to go through the formal bidding process, and that takes time, so it saves money. You can go with whatever vendor you want. we know that you don't have to use COSTARS, but we would recommend that you do, just so that obviously, once again, you are saving the taxpayer money as much as you can, and also missing learning opportunities. So you guys are, already not doing that. You are in this webinar, meaning that you didn't miss the learning opportunity. So keep up the good work. We do this from time to time. We always send out communications and emails about what we're doing next. We also have a calendar on our website about different webinars that we're doing, members and suppliers side and all that. So you can go on there and register for anything you want to learn. I will show you in our trainings that we have trainings available for you guys as well, not to miss those learning opportunities. So moving on. So like I just said, we have some trainings that we have available if you need. So we will go to dgs.pa.gov/COSTARS. This is where, like I said, you're going to do everything that involves the COSTARS program at that link. But instead of clicking on the member information area, you're going to click on the COSTARS Processes Online Trainings area. So what you can't see on the top of this slide, at the very top of this web page, is there are instructions in the section regarding a list of training links that you will see on the slide. So I'll show you a tip about these instructions on the next 2 slides, but before we get into that tip, I would like to talk about the trainings that are available on this page. So the first section on this page provides a step-by-step instruction on individual member processes. So if you get stuck on any process in COSTARS, this section will provide you a lot of help. So there's things on here like how to update your member profile, which I just went over, if you remember, and also how to associate yourself with your COSTARS member organization, which I also just showed you. And what I didn't show you is how to search for COSTARS exclusive and COSTARS statewide contracts. So if you click on that, it will provide you a step-by-step instruction on how to do that. And there's also things like how to register for the road salt program, how to search for the statewide contracts on our e-marketplace, things of that nature. But also at the bottom, it's very important, are the webinar recordings for members. So just like what we're doing right now, we record them and we put them on YouTube for you guys to watch. So it's kind of on demand, so you just click on it and watch it whenever you want. And so you kind of get a more face-to-face feel if you don't like the trainings I'm going to show you here in a second. So you can do something called the cue card when you are clicking on some of the trainings. This is not my favorite because it can get a little clunky and complicated. So on the top right, when you click on any of the trainings, you can use the drop-down screen and select a different view. I like the simulation view myself. I think it's the easiest one to navigate, but there's also the guided help as well. So if you select the simulation view, you can choose one of 2 versions of the simulation. The first one is my favorite visually. It walks you through each step, first giving instruction, and then the cursor automatically completes the step for you. And then the second version is the instruction version, or the interactive version, sorry. And it will let you click on the screen to complete the step. So there's tons of resources for you guys. Please don't hesitate to use any of them if you get stuck. You can contact us and we'll be happy to help you. We have a great management technician, Ray, that loves answering your questions. We're also available, me and Felicia, if you have any questions, we'll give you our contact information. But yeah, moving on here. So before we close today, I would like to talk about Denitra Gober. She's the Community Engagement Manager for Procreated, and she's going to discuss how you can introduce Procreated into your procurement process and make your procurement process more effective. So I am now going to hand it off to Denitra. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Good morning and happy Tuesday, everyone. I am super excited to be able to speak with you guys today and kind of let you guys know a little bit more about Procurated. Now, I'm sure some of you could have heard about Procurated, but I just want to make sure that you know anything and everything that we can do. So Procurated is an online ratings and reviews site for the public sector. It is completely free, you guys. You heard that here first. It is completely free, and it is a private site for procurement professionals in government, healthcare, education, and the nonprofit sector. So again, you don't have to worry about your budget or your bottom line. This tool is free for you. This tool was actually a brainchild of a former CPO of Pennsylvania, David Yarkin. Some of you may have heard his name, but he is now our CEO and founder. And during his time in Pennsylvania, when dealing with procurement processes and vendors and suppliers, he always noticed that he would get these cherry-picked references that were just so amazing they could do no wrong. And sometimes that's the truth, but we all know that with truth, there's another side of the story. So while on vacation with his family, his wife, and his kids, he realized that when they were looking for places to eat and places to go, that he would always go to Yelp. And he loved Yelp because they gave pictures and they had ratings and reviews, and you could connect with different people and kind of get a little bit of insight about places or things that you've never heard before or explored. So he came back home from vacation and said, you know what? I think this is something that the procurement sector needs. Why not have a site that people can access and get ratings and reviews and be able to connect and collaborate statewide, but also nationwide. So since the start of Procurated, which is, it's been around for a little over 3 years, we have over 12,000 different supplier pages. We have over 43,000 supplier ratings and reviews, and we have 60,000 total users. And here's a little known fact, guys. You guys were one of the first organizations to join and believe in Procurated. So clap your hands and pat your back for that. You guys are about 6,000 strong. So you're about 10% of our total users. So it seems like you guys love to use the site and love to connect with us. So like I said, it is a site for only procurement professionals in government, education, healthcare, and nonprofit. So you don't have to worry about, you know, Jane or John Doe on the street being able to come in and leave reviews. This is a trusted site for your peers and your colleagues. So you can join Procurated individually. Some people have small teams, a team of one. You supermen and superwomen out there that are doing it all, you can join Procurated, but you can also join Procurated as a team. And what that means is it allows you to collaborate a little bit more effectively and efficiently across the platform. It allows you to have a tool that you can bring into your meetings or for any decisions that you need to make, along with some of the COSTARS things that we were just discussing. So to sign up for Procurated, like I said, it is completely free. You would just go to www.procurated.com. You would click sign up and then click I am a buyer, put your name and your email information, the state and your organization name in there, and we would handle the rest. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually get you guys over to the site. Give me 1 second to share that screen with you guys. So we are going to pretend that everybody is logged in. You've gone to the site. This is what you would see. This is your holy grail, your main page. When you come into this site, a lot of people like to use it for so many different things. But some of the more popular ways that people use it is to look for a specific service or a specific product, as well as you can look for specific suppliers. You can read reviews and leave reviews. And for you guys, I have a special treat to show you what COSTARS specifically can do. So for example, let's say that you got into the site and you had to look up cleaning supplies. You could just type that in on this screen, press enter, and it is going to bring up all of the suppliers in your area that are on our site. The cool thing is that you're able to see all of their star ratings, as well as you can see how many people left reviews. So we're going to look at, let's see, WB Mason. And what you'll see on the screen is their contact information. You'll be able to see a little bit about them, their contract vehicles. You'll be able to see their service areas, their commodities, their overall ratings. But here is the meat and potatoes, guys. You are able to see their reviews. So these reviews can be left anonymously. So if you wanted to leave a review, you don't have to necessarily leave your name. But in that, you can leave your review and you're also able to direct message a person. So let's say that someone left a review and said, hey, I love this cleaning company. They were so great. And you said, okay, they seem pretty interesting. I wanted to learn a little bit more. You're able to direct message someone and say, hey, well, what service did you get? What did you love about it? And so again, that collaborating, that collective organization of experiences is something that kind of helps to follow really, really good purchasing decisions. I am going to go back. I am also going to, let's say that we wanted to look for a specific supplier. Let's say your organization needs to do a total overhaul of your cable and your internet service. And you want to look at, we'll just put out Comcast. We'll type in Comcast, and of course, they will come up. You would click on them. You're able to see, again, the same things. So it's not just looking for services or products, but you can look for specific suppliers. In this, you can also create, much like people do on Amazon or different websites where you can create lists. You can create a supplier list where you'll come up with a name, create a list, and you're able to that. You can send it in an email, you can print it, you can share it with your teams. Another one of the features that is super awesome about this site is that you are able to look at different things by business designations. So if you had quotas to reach for your small, local, and diverse businesses and purchases that you had to do with your robust purchasing program that had to fall into that line, you are able to narrow the options down by that as well. But let me show you something that is totally going to blow your minds. And that is, you guys have the contract feature. Because you have been with us for so long and we have so much information, we now have a robust amount of contracts to look at. So we're going to click on contracts, and you're able to look by, I guess the category is what we would call it. I'm going to click on IT hardware. And on this, you're able to see the overall ratings, the national ratings. You're able to look at their ratings for service and value, quality, and timeliness. And let me give you guys one that is really robust. We're going to look at Dell. So the cool thing about this, and with you guys coming in so early, is that you are able to have access to see what organizations within your agencies are using these contracts and their overall ratings. So as you can see, we'll look at Adams County. Adams County has used Dell marketing quite a few times and has left 10 different reviews, and they're all 5 stars. So that's kind of giving you some insight that, hey, maybe Dell is pretty stellar. It seems actually overall they have pretty good ratings, but then you'll look at Thomas Jefferson University. They had 1 review and they got a 3-star. And although that isn't horrible, that gives you some insight to maybe I should reach out and see what the issues were or what challenges we face. So if we were to go into negotiations, you guys have a hands up. But the cool thing is, if you were to scroll down, you are still able to read those individual ratings. So you're able to see that Amy McBride said, this was awesome, great customer service, quality, timeliness. And this is a feature that you only have at this level. So again, kudos to you guys for getting in there and leaving reviews. And speaking of reviews, I wanted to share something else with you guys. Let's see. So you guys probably have been getting emails and heard about the East versus West, who's the best at writing reviews contest. This is a contest that is for bragging rights, and you guys are showing up and showing out. Since being established over a week and a half ago, we've had over 600 reviews written, and it looks like the East is in the lead with 318 reviews, but the West, I'm sure, is right behind. And I have a feeling that after this call, you guys are going to turn those numbers even further up. Now, in writing reviews, If you're on a vendor's page, all you have to do is click write a review. It takes 1 second. You click on your stars if you want to leave any comments that you would want someone to pass on to you. If you were looking at a different vendor or supplier, you can do that as well. Lastly, I wanted to share with you guys that our team literally just released, so you are the first people to hear about it, a buyer's guide for local suppliers in Pennsylvania. So I will send that over to Felicia and the team after this call, and it just gives you guys some resources, some tips, some tricks, some different sites that you can use, some different tools, so that you can meet those quotas and you can start supporting those local ecosystems. In the meantime, in between time, again, thank you for joining me. I am Denitra Gober, Community Engagement Manager with Procurated. I'm your Community Engagement Manager. And if you have any questions, want to learn more, want me to show this to your team, again, it is free. I can onboard you guys at no problem. It's really, really quick. You can email me at denitra@procurated.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat box, and I will do my best to answer them during the rest of the time that we have for this meeting.
So like Denitra said, we will be opening the floor for questions. If you have questions for me, Felicia, about the COSTARS program, if you have a question about Procurated, please let us know.